It's the middle of 2022, and are you wondering if the housing market has peaked? In this episode, I'm going to tackle that question. Welcome everyone to this episode of the AskJasonGelios Show. I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. Really had this great question, and actually, I was also a part of an article by Eric J. Martin, great writer. He writes for many platforms. This one is for the Mortgage Reports, and actually the title of the article is "Has the Housing Market Finally Peaked?" But I've been asked this question by almost everybody that is curious around me about what the housing market's doing. So before we dive into this question, I'd like to just invite you to follow me on social media. Those links are in the description below. And be sure to visit my website. It's allabouttherealestate.com. You fill out that pop-up form to receive a new episode every week in your email, along with some other valuable tips for homeowners and things like that, okay? Many of us know that the real estate market has been really hot for a few years now. Even just before COVID, the market was gaining traction. It was becoming more and more of a seller's market, and then it accelerated and became hyperactive when COVID hit, pandemic hit. First off, a seller's market, which we're in right now, although it is starting to transition into favoring more and more home buyers, we're starting that transition, right? The numbers are showing. Past 3 months, those numbers have been showing. A seller's market is one which sellers have the negotiating leverage because demand for housing is higher. So supply and demand. If you know about video games and you know that the PS5 right now is hard to come by, right? The PlayStation 5, that PS5 costs a lot more. There are people selling it for like $800 to $1,000 to probably even more. I don't know. So that's really crazy. Something to know too about the housing market is that, it warms, it cools, it warms, it cools. It's always going to be doing that, okay? You have people who are coming into the market, first-time home buyers who didn't have much of a chance at obtaining home ownership in the past 3 years, okay? Some have, don't get me wrong, but most didn't because, they were getting beat out by cash buyers or people putting, 20, 40% down on a home above asking, all this. It was just so crazy. I couldn't believe it. But individuals are continuing to purchase, and they will as we go through 2022 and into 2023. They're going to be purchasing their first homes, even at higher interest rates. Now, just a little side note here, first-time home buyers aren't as focused as much on the interest rate because they want to get into their home, establish that equity, and they can always refinance down the road. But they mainly look at how can I get into a home, and the majority of first-time home buyers go through FHA, which doesn't look solely on credit scores, okay? Oh, also too, new home builds are not being constructed as quickly as needed to meet the current demand. Overall, new home building is decreasing, okay? That's another video I'll do. But we've been in a strong seller's market for some time now because there's a shift also in the mindset of millennials. So that played a huge part. Millennials were going more and more towards renting space and not so much home ownership, but now that's changing. This other expert that was featured in this article, Rogers Healy, he said that about 43% of home buyers were millennials. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Going back to, has the housing market peaked? Well, once annual home price growth starts to trend downward, all right, that's when the market is said to have peaked. So again, once the annual home price growth starts trending downward, that means that the market is said to have peaked. When the market peaks, it reaches an ultimate high. So you got prices and mortgage rates at an all-time high before descending. Now we're seeing that now. The mortgage rates have gone up and they will continue to go up throughout 2022. And therefore the prices of homes will go down a little bit. It's going to stabilize, and many people will try to list their home as seller confidence increases as well. Many sellers held off because of the pandemic. That was the only downside. That didn't help the market much, that people were holding off, but that's okay. I understand. Okay, so the second half of 2022 will reflect a lower demand for housing. That's already happening. We're heading towards a home buyer's market. Now, I want to share with you some statistics, again, from this article, great article. This article, by the way, is linked in the description, okay? If you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. I also share it. I shared it on my blog. I share it on my press page at it'sallabouttherealestate.com. The results of a recent Home Light survey, which this is in no way any endorsement, okay, it's just what they say. Home Light survey, they did a poll of real estate agents and they said, what's the state of the housing market, okay? 94% of real estate agents believe it's still a seller's market. It is still, okay? It's like on average 5 offers per home on the market right now, okay? Although 29%, according to National Association of Realtors, about 29% of sellers who put their home on the market had to price adjust. That's not good. 44% say that bidding wars are on the decline. That is true. 34% said that price reductions are becoming more common. Yes, and I just mentioned that statistic that came. 33% of agents indicate that inventory is rising in their market. I know that. I'm in Southeast Michigan, and I can tell you that there's more homes coming on the market more often. And I'm glad, because it's been too hard for too long. It needs to get better, right? And even though mortgage rates are going up, listen, you can pay 100% on a rental, or you can pay 6 to 7% right now, depending on your credit. 6 to 7% for 30-year mortgage. Okay, I mean, which would you rather do? And those rates are still low. Ask somebody in their 60s or 70s what the mortgage rates were back in the day. They were probably double digits. Okay, so anyway, hope you guys found this valuable. Has the housing market peaked? Almost. We're right there. Okay, it's gonna get better. So with that said, I'm Jason Gelios, Michigan Realtor. I appreciate you guys watching. Oh, by the way, follow me on social media. Hit up those links in the description, and be sure to hit my website, it'sallabouttherealestate.com. Fill out that pop-up form to receive a new episode every week. I appreciate you watching.